What's up, Wizards? Hope you're ready to get your week started. We got 10 cards, but it's not for the weak-hearted. Because they're Magic cards, it's kind of controversial. It used to be a game, but now it's more like a commercial for some other things. Maybe Doctor Who or maybe Elden Ring, who knows? All I really want to do is sing. It's 10 cards rated. You know your boy takes serious joy in 10 cards rated. We got day 247 of the grand experiment today, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what we do when we press random. That's the whole point of the thing, right? This is Sam, Loyal Attendant. This is 3 mana. Speaking of not Magic cards, 3 mana, 1 a green and a white for a 2/4 legendary halfling peasant. Partner with Frodo, adventurous hobbit. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a food token. Activated abilities of foods you control cost 1 less to activate. So cost a little less to eat with Samwise around because he's gonna like cook for you or something. I guess that's the flavor. I think the flavor is that hobbits like food. So let's just make some hobbits that do some cool stuff with food. Not the biggest fan of food synergies, and this probably isn't one of the better food synergies. It certainly won't be your food commander. It'll just be in the 99 or something. And the big attraction is that like you get a food every turn. It's kind of a big whoop in some ways. So I'm just going to give this like a 3.5. I'm not feeling particularly charitable today, I think, but I'm going to go ahead and move on because I want a magic card. Can I get a magic card? No. No, I cannot. This is Theoden, King of Rohan. 3 mana, 1 a red and a white for a 2/3 legendary human noble from the same set as Samwise, of course. Whenever Theoden or another human enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Okay, it's a little human guy that gives double strike to other stuff. Oh yeah, I mean, I could kind of get down with this, but again, I don't think this will be your like humans commander in Boros. Although maybe, I don't know. It's like it could be like a Voltron-y type commander in some ways if you have enough humans or something. So I guess I'm not completely adverse to this, but you know, it's still just a little better than Sam in some ways. At least it doesn't just like make food tokens and do nothing else. Double strike's a good ability, so I'll slide this up to a 4.0. right there somewhere. But next we'll move on to, oh god, it's a magic card. It's from Odyssey. And only Odyssey. This is Abashans Desire. Abashans Desire is a single blue mana for an aura that enchants a creature. Enchanted creature has flying. Threshold. Enchanted creature has shroud. Okay, as long as there's 7 or more things in your yard, this is actually okay. It's pretty good. They just don't print cards with shroud on them anymore. And shroud can, you know, get in your own way some of the time, which can't be good. But, you know, if you're not trying to like Voltron up your commander, like if you're in a very specific kind of deck, this gets really, really good. You know, a deck where maybe you do want to cast enchantments or something, but mostly you just want to protect your commander. You know, you don't have to Voltron it. You don't have to stick a bunch of stuff to it. It's already just a decently statted commander that you want to get in with combat damage with. Because this has, you know, it gives the creature flying, so that'll make that a little bit easier. But also giving it shroud might be really, really good depending on the situation. Only a single blue mana for this is all right, although having to engineer the threshold, 7 cards is more than it sounds like in your graveyard. You know, the card's not really turned on fully until like a good too late into the game. You know, I guess there's a lot of blue. I'm talking myself out of it now. There's some blue effects that do effectively this for a single mana, sometimes 2 mana, right? So having to wait a few turns to get it, you know, kind of activated is not the best thing in the world, but a single blue mana is not like a bad rate. And apart from that is just, you know, flight. I guess I'll take that from time to time. But I'm going to give this like a 3.8. I think you could easily find spots for this. As a matter of fact, it might be better than you know, the King of Rohan there, Theoden. It might actually be better. I think you could probably use this in just as many cases. Kind of a cool old card here, I'll say. But we'll move on to Return to Dust. 4 mana, 2 double white for an instant. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast this spell during your main phase, you get to exile a second artifact or enchantment. So this doesn't see as much play as it used to, boy. But it's been reprinted a million times because it does, or used to, see so much commander play. Again, I'm not sure that it does anymore, but this is a 2-for-1 at instant speed that takes out, you know, exiles 2 really important things. So I still think it's a fine commander card. I'll give Return a I'll give Return a 5. I will. It's almost an honorary 5. I feel like we have in most large part moved on from the card, but it's still instant speed. It's still exile. It's still a 2-for-1. It still takes out stuff that sometimes whole decks are kind of built around. Like they need the engine. So yeah, I think Return to Dust is still fine in like casual Commander. You'll catch people playing this from time to time. And next is Counterspell. We've actually done Counterspell before, although I cannot remember what we assigned to this card, but I think it was close-ish to a 9. It was like an 8.7 or something. Whoever's keeping the spreadsheet, let me know, but it deserves every bit of that. And this is a ridiculously good Magic card. Oh, wow. Scoot Swarm is up next. This is still like $3. It's crazy. Well, I guess you can get it for $2 from like Modern Horizons Commander or the Dustborn Commander set. That might be worth $2. This is $3. 3 mana. 2 and a green for a 1/1 insect with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you get a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you have 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm instead. So that's pretty nasty. If you have 6 lands, then it creates a token, and then those 2 tokens create 2 more tokens, and those tokens create 4 more tokens, and so forth and so on. Just a wild landfall ability that like most landfall decks in Commander are going to want to carry. So I'm going to give Scooty, man, I'm going to ask the audience first. I'm going to give you guys a second to kind of come up with a rating on this one because I want to know what people think about Scoot Swarm. You know, in modern day Commander, I think there was a point where it's kind of a meme in Standard or whatever, but I think this is definitely more than Commander playable, and it does see some Commander play. You see it in EDA Trek decks from time to time. So I'm going to give Scooty a old scooter. I'm going to give this a 6. I'm going to give Scoot Swarm a 6. I think this is a more than playable Magic card that just about any landfall deck is going to want to, leverage. So yeah, good card. The next is Rivalry from Only Urza's Legacy. This is 3 mana, 2 and a red for an enchantment. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls more lands than any other player, Rivalry deals 2 damage to him or her. Okay, I was gearing up for something there. I should know what this card is. I played back during Legacy, and I thought I knew all the Urza's Legacy cards, but I don't know if I remember this one. Probably because it's not going to see too much play in competitive Magic, but even in Commander, it's just, an extra 2 damage to one player, you know what I mean? Like per turn cycle. That's not that big of a deal. So I don't know about this. I looked at it at first and I was like, you're a 30-cent rare from Urza's Legacy? Like, how bad can you be? It's pretty bad. That's not great. So extra 2 damage a turn to a random player could even be you. It's not amazing. So I'm just going to give this a 3. And I know that seems low, but that doesn't mean it's not niche playable. Even 2.5s can be niche playable depending on the situation. So, maybe if you need to proc damage on something every turn or something, like something that cares about your opponent's losing life, or maybe you have effects that double or triple, like City on Fire, right? Like the amount of damage that affects like this do, then suddenly we might be talking, but nah, it's not very good. You can find better ways to, use your slots. But next is Pillaging Horde, originally from Portal here. 4 mana. Is this the, yeah, this is Barbarian Hordes. 4 mana, 2 and 2 red for a 5/5 human barbarian. I was going to say summon creature. It's a human barbarian. When it comes into play from your hand, discard a card at random or destroy Pillaging Horde. Now, this is the lesser known version of Balduvian Horde, was the name of the card from Alliances, which was supposed to be the chase rare, the set that contains Force of Will. Balduvian Horde was supposed to be the chase rare from. And, when I was maybe 14, something like that, I crept downstairs on Christmas morning to find 4 packs of Alliances, hoping that I would open a Balduvian Horde. And I did. And I quickly learned the lesson that's not a great Magic card. It's really not. but that deck, that card was kind of one of my best Magic memories, and has been for a long time. This is a rip-off version of it, but it should tell you something when they take the chase rare from Alliances, what was supposed to be the chase rare, they just print it into Portal. You know what I mean? How good of a card can it really be? I have to sadly give Pillaging. If I ever see Balduvian Horde, I might give it the honorary 5. I really might. It doesn't deserve it. But Pillaging Horde, this is not Balduvian Horde, so I can judge it a little bit more fairly. This is like a 2.4. somewhere in there. It might be even lower, honestly, but I don't have the heart. I really don't. This card's not good. Next is Infantry Veteran, originally from Visions, but apparently reprinted a bunch of times, like more than I realized. This is a single white mana for a 1/1 human soldier. You can tap it, and target attacking creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Pretty normal, regular old Magic card. It's not that great. I'm gonna give this a 2.45. I actually think this might have more use cases than a Bulbaduvian Horde. At least it's a soldier. At least it's a human, At least it's a 1-drop that actually does stuff after turn 2, You're never going to play it, but it's probably better than that last card. Next is Sculpting Steel. This thing's fine. This is from a whole bunch of sets, but originally Mirrodin, and it is pretty cheap now. This card used to be like $5 or $6, $7, but not anymore. 3 mana for an artifact. As it comes into play, you may choose an artifact in play. If you do, Steel becomes a copy of that artifact. So it enters play. The new text is it enters play as a copy of an artifact on the field. I still think this is a pretty playable Magic card. I'm going to give this a 5. And that's just because it can be any artifact. It could even, in fact, could be a boat. But this, we're in a singleton format in Commander, obviously. So, any artifacts that you're kind of leaning on, this can just be a second copy of. And I'm always going to be kind of attracted to that. I think that's really cool. So I like this. I'm going to give it a 5, and I kind of want to rate it higher than that, but it really depends on what it's copying. You know what I mean? It's not going to go in everything. But the apparent final card of the day today is, oh my goodness, we are bookended by Lord of the Rings. Eomer, Marshal of Rohan. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 legendary human knight with haste. Whenever one or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control after this phase. You get an additional combat phase. Cool that it has haste. I'll say that. You can get a copy of this for 25 cents. That doesn't seem like the worst deal, but a 4 mana 4/4 haste, you could do worse than that stat wise. And if it dies, no, it's other. Whenever one or more other attack, and that makes it a little bit worse, but still, you might have other legends out there that you could engineer dying, or maybe you want to get in with them and your opponent blocks, or maybe you get in with them on attacks and you sacrifice them to something to trigger that extra combat phase. You could do cool stuff with this. I really do think you could. So I'm going to give this, a 5.5. This is probably slightly kind of okay. I really like the haste on it. You can ambush into this other combat step, again, especially if you have, village rights or like anything to let you sacrifice a guy. This becomes like kind of okay the turn you play it if you're in the right setup. And Commander decks tend to really like these extra combat steps. But you'll note that I have not navigated my cursor over to, record so I can turn the video up. I think that, Monday, first day back in a couple of days, let's do a bonus card. We're only at like 13 minutes here. We got plenty of time. Slice and Dice is up next from Onslaught originally. It's been printed a few times, though. This is 6 mana, 4 and 2 red for a sorcery. Slice and Dice deals 4 damage to each creature, and you can cycle this for 2 and a red. When you cycle Slice and Dice, you may have it deal 1 damage to each creature. So maybe you're like Enrage Dinosaurs deck or something, if you got a bunch of Enrage guys. I don't know how many people actually play Enrage Dinos, even when they play dinosaurs. It's not like it's an unpopular deck, right? But how good is Enrage, really? But this can enrage all your guys, maybe take out a creature or 2 on the opponent's side. It's got pretty brutal art when you really look at it. It's crazy that is the art on this. But, if you need to cast it for the full casting cost, it's like a Mizium Mortars or something that you've overloaded. It still hits your guys, unlike Mortars. But still, red sweeper here that you can draw a card off of at instant speed. You can blow a couple things off the table instant speed, a bunch of tokens. I actually think this is kind of fine. And apparently Wizards thought it was too, because it's been reprinted into 3 Commander products. So it's kind of neat. It was even a Friday Night Magic promo. That's kind of cool. But I'm going to give this, I like this. I'm going to give this a 4.6. I actually think this is kind of useful. I don't know if it's, better than the other 60 plus non-land slots you've got to fill in Commander. You can probably find better ways to do it, but ultimately, yeah, I'm kind of into this, and I don't remember ever really having seen it. Sometime around Onslaught, I took one of my first breaks from Magic for about a year, and so I don't know everything from this set, to be honest, but the fact that it was an F&M promo seems like it was at least pseudo important, but that's not a guarantee. Not at all. But yeah, it's a cool little card here, honestly. I like it. But that is it for Monday, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye.